Okay, so here you can see me in Velocidrone. I've been using this for about 6 or 7 flights now. The first couple of flights were for half an hour, but made me feel a bit sick, so I limit it to about 10 to 15 minutes now. But I've got fairly used to it. I love flying in here. It's great fun, especially this playground, because it's really difficult, but it gives you a real idea of how to fly the drone. So, you know, but it doesn't prepare you for what's about to come. I've been flying or playing computer games for years. I'm 53 now. So I kind of really enjoy this side of it, but you're not flying a 750 quid drone. But I like it in here, and I recommend everybody gets used to something like Velocidrone or one of the other simulators before you even think about flying manual mode with the DJI drone or any other sort of FPV drone. But in here you can see that I'm fairly competent with it. I can fly around, I can go through small gaps. I kind of understand how all the joysticks work, the controller works. And it's fun because you've got nothing to lose if you crash. So, you know, I find that I'm really confident in here. But I'll tell you now, when I first went to manual mode this morning on the FPV drone, on the DJI drone, it's so scary because obviously you're now flying with money and there's not many spare parts out at the moment, so you've got to take it really easy until you're super confident and know what you're doing. So let's switch to the DJI drone now. Now, as you can see here, I was flying in normal mode, just to get a feel for the drone again, because this was only my 3rd flight, 2nd time I'd ever flown wearing goggles, so it's still very new to me, and it's just very strange. And yes, I was rocking the Stevie Wonder Wiggle. Your head tends to follow the drone in the goggles, so any onlookers are going to find it really strange looking at you. But obviously flying in this mode, I'm really comfortable. The only difference between this and the other Mavics and things like that from DJI is that it tilts when you turn. Other than that, it's fairly straightforward. So at this point I was deciding to actually go into Acro mode, manual mode, and you have to hover, so you activate the stick. So once you go into manual mode, it won't go straight in. You have to actually mess about with the sticks. You follow a green line, you put the sticks over that, just to show that you're prepared. And I think that actually it brings the throttle down a bit so that you don't shoot up. But once I'd gone into, you can see here I was still at 50%, and the drone starts to rise because rather than being in hover mode in normal mode, it goes to 50% power. Bottled it there, hit the I was testing the brake button and it worked really well, so I activated manual again and shot off. It's incredibly good but scary, but that means it's good because it keeps you on your toes, and it brings me back to why I started flying drones in the first place. It's got that fear, and you can see here I'm just all over the place, even though I've done it so many times and quite competently in Velocidrone. You can see you've got to be really tentative. There's no spare parts at the moment for the FPV drone from DJI, as far as I know, so I want to keep flying this as long as possible until I've got a bag full of spares. But it was just a case of orienting myself with this, but then I went back to sport mode and had a bit of a buzz around, and again you find that really exhilarating as well. So I think a lot of people will stay in this mode for a fair bit, and they may not even use the manual mode, which is fair enough, because this as a normal drone in sport mode is fantastic. In normal mode, if you've had a drone before and you've flown one for any time, you might find it a bit boring. You've got a drone that does that already. Sport mode is super quick, very agile, banks on the turns, and you can get some really good stuff. So if you're going down rivers or lakes and you're hurtling along and skimming the top of the lake, then you do a nice turn. It's going to be a lot different to the drone you've probably got at the moment. So it's incredible, but at least you know you've always got the FPV there if you want to do that. And in Acro mode, the drone goes from 0 to 100 kilometers an hour in 2 seconds. It's insanely fast. It's gone before you know it. So take your time, enjoy the drone and fly in Velocidrone or some other simulator, and eventually hit those sticks and get into Acro mode, and you'll have the time of your life. I'm going to fly more tomorrow, so like, follow, subscribe, do whatever, hit the thumbs up button, and keep your eyes open for my next flights.